There are many purposes we come here on Cricbuzz Comm Box. One, of course, is to assess the fortunes of the team as to where they stand in the 10th over. Here, we will also be trying to see whether our expert has changed his views on to where they are. And you can hear him in the background. We'll come to you, Shaun, in a second. Bangalore 164 for 7. Shaun Pollock felt that it was enough runs for them to be able to defend, but he did put a rider in there. It's all up to the opening pair. And here we are, Shaun Pollock. I think you said it. If the opening pair stick around, and they've stuck around for 10 overs.
Yeah, I mean, I would think Punjab would be favourites now. I really do. Also, just from the reports, Wasim Jaffer was interviewed and he said, spoken to the batters, and they think that the surface is really good, which is a little of a different way of thinking of it. We thought it was maybe holding. Maybe the roller comes on and makes it just a little bit easier to deal with. But if these two, the way they're playing, I think they would go as favourites. And I would think the instruction would be, make sure the next guys who come to the crease do not put any pressure on the guy who's left at the crease there. He's the one who's going to bat us through, and you make sure you take all the pressure off him. If he says to you, go and play some risk cricket, you need to do it, because I think the way they've played, they're in and they're superb.
And they've had a measured approach. Typically when you see a Rahul Mayank partnership, they come in the middle. One of them will hit 3 boundaries in that opening over. In this case, they were quiet in the first couple of overs. Then they started picking on the bad balls and the bowlers they'd like to target, someone like a George Garton, and they've done it well. First over from Chahal, full respect. Second over from Chahal, 2 quiet boundaries, 9 off the over. That really is the perfect formula for them.
Yeah, in many ways, it's just a stock standard chase, isn't it? I mean, 160 was sort of par. If you look at most T20 matches that get played in RPL history, it's just been the nature of this pitch that we've been a little bit concerned about. But, if they just go right their normal way, the strike rates that they're able to achieve, Mayank is always looking to be the aggressor. Rahul is the one who plays well, and at times he is even more positive than Mayank. But, I think it is well calculated. I think they're so experienced, they're well measured. And I don't think they get flattered by anything, or flustered by anything. They don't play out of their game plan.
Well, I can tell you, as you finish that sentence, Shaun, KL Rahul has played out of his game plan, because Mayank Agarwal to Shabazz in the next over had a beautiful 6, well timed, took a single, strike over to Rahul. Probably didn't need to do any more for the over, but Rahul goes down the next over, tries to hoik him, gets a sort of topish edge, and it goes to third man for a catch. And that is not ideal for them, but at least they've laid a platform right now. But it still could be critical, because they really didn't want to expose the middle order if they didn't have to.
Yeah, they didn't want to. I think it will be key as to how the guys start on the surface. None of them are in massive amount of form, but how they go when they initially get to the crease. If one of those batters can be fortunate enough to get to 10 or 6 deliveries, then I feel like he'll be underway, and then they can still carry him to do it. But the pressure now does this leap onto Mayank.
But the other thing Wasim Jaffer did say there was he really sort of put the onus, in a sense, on the middle order. He said at some point they're going to show up. He tried to make it tongue-in-cheek, but really they've got lots and lots of resources. They've got Enriquez, who's been added to that middle order, Puran, the aggressor, Shah Rukh Khan, Safraz, both of them can play in their own way. And of course, the solid Aiden Markram. So you've got different kinds of players to come in and take things on. Harpreet can bat too. So they shouldn't really be panicking at all. It's just that the openers have been so good. Puran is the one who's coming next.
Yeah, no panic at all needed or required. I just think they do have to find someone who gets a game plan to keep the pressure off by knocking it around. And then we also know that if it gets down to the last over, maybe they'll be a bit nervous because of the way the tournament or the last 2 years have gone in those close shaves. So RCB will be able to apply pressure, but as I mentioned, after that start, I'd be very surprised if Punjab can't manage to pull this one out.
And something tells me it's not just last 2 years. They will keep going back to that one game. 8 required of 2 overs. They couldn't get there. That's not going to happen again, is it?
Well, I would hate to think it does. They'd be absolutely distraught if it happens again.
Well, there we had. We think the balance is now shifted towards the chasing side, but in the course of this conversation, a wicket's fallen, so that gap has squeezed a little bit. It just means we're in for an exciting finish. Punjab still favourites. If things change, we will of course discuss all that and look ahead to the next game. Remember, one more game coming up from Dubai. It's Hyderabad against Kolkata. All that to do, lots of hard work. We'll see you then. This is all from Cricbuzz Comm Box.